notice when I click my wall, I have a properties here. So this talks about the basic types of wall in which we have the generic 150, we have the generic 300. So in case you want to get any width of wall and you are not finding it in the template or in the generic folder, you just have to choose one and come to edit type. Under the edit type, this talks about what the family in which we are using. So the system family is what a basic wall, and the type wall is generic 200 mm. Hello guys, welcome to another episode of our Revit tutorial course. If you are not part of the family, kindly hit on the subscribing button and be part of the family. Anytime we release a video, then you get notified, and also hit the notification button. So guys, I'm seeing a lot of views. We are on it. There are a lot of videos in which I'm going to provide. So when you watch my video, kindly share the video. If anything goes wrong, if you don't understand anything, kindly write it at the comment section box. So guys, it's my pleasure to be with you this evening. So on today's tutorials, I'm going to guide you on how to create a wall, how wall works in Revit. So we are going to learn how to create a wall, how wall works in Revit, and also we are going to learn how to increase the width of a wall, and also how to add plastering to a wall, and also how to get the constraints for your base constraints and the top constraints in Revit. So we have a lot today. The main focus here is today we are targeting wall. So when I come to my template, this is the normal template. You can get this sample template. We've worked on a sample template in our previous tutorial, so you can check it at the top here, how to get a sample video of how a sample template. So our tutorials today is going to be how to create a wall and how wall works in Revit. So we have a series of levels here. First I have to delete what I'm having inside. So before you can draw a wall, you first have to get your base constraint and your top constraint. So these are levels in which I have created in my Revit file. So this one will be, let's say, the roof level. So this one is the roof level. We have the level 2, we have the level 1. So before you can create a wall, you have to get these kinds of level. If you are an engineer, maybe you may need top of foundation level, but this lesson you are just using level 1, level 2 and roof. So at the level 1, I can see from here there are level 1, level 2, but there aren't any roof level. So before I can bring my roof level, I have to come to the view here at the plan view, then I'll come to floor plan, so I can see my roof level here. So the roof level 2 has been populated at the project browser. So we are going to use our level 1 and see how wall works. Before that, we are going to come to the architecture tab. Under the architecture tab, you have the panels and we have the tools here under the panel. So I'll just click on this small arrow and I have a series of them, series of walls. So I have the architecture wall, I have the structure wall, and I have wall by face. We also have the sweep wall and the reveal wall. So these two walls works in 3D, and I'm going to guide you on how it works. But before that, let's use the architecture wall. So with the architecture wall, when I click on the architecture wall, I'll be given the properties of the wall type in which I want, and also there are a basic settings here in which we are going to work on it. We have the first one is the depth. So in case I want my wall to move from level 1 to minus level 1, I have to use the depth. And in case I want my level to move from level 1 to top level 2, I have to use the height. So using the height, then I'll tell this one is what? Unconnected level. So unconnected level, in case I draw my wall will be what? Above 3000 mm. So simple and short, I'll change this one to level 2. And also I can draw my wall like that. Okay, so you can check out in the 3D what you just draw. Okay, so you can see this type of wall in which we drew. It has the exterior inside the wall. So before you can change the exterior inside the wall, I'll come back to my level 1 again, select the wall and use this one to change it out, use this one to change it out, and use this one to change it out, and use this one to change it out. So this is how to change what? Your plastering or your rendering or your interior outside in case you've drawn a wall. So again, we've managed to draw our wall, and the second thing we are going to target is when I click my wall, I have a properties here. So this talks about the basic types of wall in which we have the generic 150, we have the generic 300. So in case you want to get any width of wall and you are not finding it in the template or in the generic folder, you just have to choose one and come to edit type. Under the edit type, this talks about what? The family in which we are using. So the system family is what? A basic wall, and the type wall is generic 200 mm. So under the structure area, we have this series of properties in the wall. So I'll come to duplicate here, and I'll change maybe the size in which I want or the width in which I want. If it's 150 mm, I'll just do 150 and I'll click on OK. So at the edit type here for the structure, I'll just have to change the thickness of the wall to 150. And also I can check the material here in which I want. So when I click on the material in which I'm using for the wall, which it's loading, so what type of material am I using? So let me search wall. So we have the default wall. If you are using a default wall or you are using a exterior wall, you just have to check the ones that you want. So let me use a default wall for now and just click on OK and do OK. So now I can do my 150 mm wall like this. So there is another thing in which I'm going to show you. When in case you are drawing a wall, there is something that we call chain. So we learn about chain, which means continuing the wall. So when you click on this one and I check the chain, I uncheck the chain, the next one is not going to continue unless I draw it myself. So this is another property of the chain. So when I check the chain, I can draw like this and it will follow as well. Okay, so the other properties in which we are going to work on, I'm going to provide a floor like this, a rectangular floor like this. So we need to provide our walls at the edge of the floor. So I'll just pick my walls. So we have this location line in which we have the wall at the center. With the center, when I draw my wall, it's going to be at the center. So these are the various tools you have to check before. So this also talks about the core wall. I can also use this one, in which it also places it at the center. So I'll pick my wall again and I'll use interior. Immediately I pick in interior, it's going to draw the wall at the edge for me, like this. Like that. And in case I have a wall and I pick the exterior, it's going to draw the wall at the exterior for me. So these are the basic tools you want you to know in Revit. So I can also check my 3D to see how it works. I can rotate by using a shift to see how it works. So guys, let's move on. So another thing that we are going to work on, we've managed to work on the weight or the weight of the wall, which was 150. We changed from 200 to 150. We've thought about the location line, in which we use an example of a exterior wall and a core wall, which have the exterior and the interior. We talked about the core center line, so let's try this one too and see. So this one talks about when I come to the wall, let's pick the finished exterior wall. So this also works as the interior wall. This also works as the interior wall. Okay, so guys, if you are not part of the family, kindly subscribe and hit the subscription button to get notified. So the last thing I'm going to show you here, or the last but not the least, the thing I'm going to show you here is the offset. I can also do an offset of, let's say, 1 meter, in which I'll draw my one from this edge and it will give me an offset of 1 meter. I can also do same by picking this one. It provides to me 1 meter distance from where I did it. So this is tools in which helps you to provide offset without using the modified tool to do your offset. So the last thing I'm going to show you in Revit using the wall is using the allow button. So the allow button works here. So when I right click on this one, I can see this allow join, in which helps me to bring my wall down. Okay, so let me make an example for you to see how it works. So I'm going to let me work here. So when I pick my walls, I'll do disallowed. Immediately I do disallowed, it's not going to join the walls. You see how it has done. See, when you check here, this is how it's going to be. But when I checked allowed, my walls are going to join together no matter how I draw it. So these are the things in which we want you to know here. And we said that we are also going to teach you how to change the weight. We've managed to do that. We are also going to teach you how to add a plastering to a wall. So when I select a wall here, I'll just come to edit type. Under the edit type, I'll come to the structure edit type. There is this insert button here, so I'll do just an insert and I'll provide the thickness of my plastering. So if it's 25 mm or 2.5 mm, I'll provide it here. I'll provide another insert in which I can bring this one down like this and change the width to 2.5, and also I can provide a plastering material. So I'm going to use yellow for this side Then I'll be using a different color too for this side. So let me change from the roof tile to something different. Okay, so this increases what the width in which we have. So I can now draw my wall something like this. So to join this wall, I can use the trim command, that's TR, to join it. The TR command to join my wall like that. So let me check the 3D how it works. So this is what we did. We made the interior this color and we made the exterior this color. So this is how to add what a plastering or an interior view or exterior view to a wall. So the next thing that we are going to do is to work on the wall constraints using the properties. So earlier we said that when you are on your level and you pick your wall, you can set this constraint here. Also, you can also set the base constraint. Let's say you want minus 300, you can do minus 300 from here. Then you set your top constraint to level 2 on roof. So immediately you provide your wall or your building plan in there. Then you take a section through like this. Your wall has minus offset of 300 mm, and also these are the top constraints in which you set to the roof level. So this is very key in Revit. You also have to know how it works. That's why I'm giving you these tutorials. So let me do a recap on what we've learned today. We said we are going to do what? Learn about how to use wall in Revit. Everything about Revit we've managed to learn today from scratch to a pro. So learned how to edit a type of wall, how to edit the weight of the wall. We learned how to add a plastering to a wall, and also we learned how to set base constraints or top constraints in Revit for your walls. So we are not done, we are moving on. And the difference between this architecture wall and structure wall, on our series of tutorials to come, we are going to give you how it works. But if you are an architect and you have this wall in your model, it means it's not going to show at the architecture area. So I'm going to do an example for you to see how it works. So in case I select this wall, let me see, I can find what I want to show you. So under the discipline area, we are going to set our distance to coordinate. So under the architecture, so let me set, okay, so the reason why we are seeing our walls at the structure tab is it means that the wall in which we are using are generic wall in which you can see at the structure tab and architecture tab. But when I click on this one and I set it to structure, it provides me with an additional information. So this is what I want to show you. Let me explain it again for you to understand. When I have the architecture wall, these are the only information I have. but immediately I set it from a structure, from an architecture to a structure, it gives me what, an additional information in which it helps me to what, provide reinforcement inside the wall. So you have to get the difference between architecture wall and also a structure wall. So in case you want to draw a structure wall, simple, you just have to come to this area, pick the structure wall. After drawing, when you click on it, it provides you with a reinforcement already. But when I use the architecture wall, in which here is it, the information I have here when I click on my wall are limited. So get note of that. So we said we are going to learn how to use the wall by face. So when I click wall by face and I come into my 3D, I can add an additional wall here. And add an additional wall to my. So let me give you an example on how it really works properly. So let me place a column, a concrete column. So these are the columns in which we have, and you want to provide, let's say, a wall around it. So in my 3D, I'll just pick these walls. Let me see if I can select here. So it's going to give me a wall. So first of all, I have to set the constraints of my wall and also set the constraints of my column. So roof, 1 minus 1. So this is how wall by face is being done. I click on my wall by face. I'll use the pick tools to select the area in which I want to provide my wall and draw my wall. So this is how it works. So the last thing we are going to learn about is using the wall, the sweep walls and the review walls. So I'm going to draw just a wall here. So at a 3D, when I click on my wall, the small triangle here, then I click on the sweep. I can also do horizontal here. Okay, then I'll do okay. And this is how the review also works. I can do vertical and it creates a hole inside my wall for me. We have other profiles also for the review, in which when I click on it and I come to edit type, under the construction, we have different kinds of profile for it. So I'll just change the ones in which I want. Change the ones in which I want. So this is how the review works. So you just have to select the area in which you want to provide it inside. So click here, you double click on it. Okay, so we've managed to learn about how wall works in Revit. So we can also, clicking on a wall, we have some elements in which you can do. So when I click on my wall like this, I have an opening in which I can provide in my wall. I have an opening which I can provide in my wall. And also when I come to my 3D, I can select this wall and also do edit profile. Under the edit profile, I can create any shape or any hole in which I want in my wall, like this, and I'll just do OK. So this hole is by using what? Edit profile, and this hole here is by using what? It's by using the wall opening in which we have. We also have a shaft. You can also create a shaft in your wall like that. So these are a few things we've managed to draw. So this is the shaft in which we just created. So guys, these are the things in which I can teach you for today. If you have any question, kindly provide it at the comment section box. This template is going to be linked at the description button, or in case you want to contact us, just email us at infinitybuildconsult or infinitybac@gmail.com, infinitybac@gmail.com. If you are not part of the family, kindly hit at the subscription button. Shalom, peace, bye. See you in the next video.